Hi guys, it's me, Diane, here with Stitching with Wolf.and.Noodles. If you're new, welcome. If you're, returning for another week, welcome back. I took last week off because I just didn't have a lot to say. Working full-time and going to school full-time, I think every week posting is a little bit too much for me. But every other week I've got a whole pile of stuff over here to show. First off, I'd like to talk about this paper that I'm doing for my writing class. And I'm writing about cross stitch and addressing the question, I've talked about it before, but in case you're new, I'm addressing the question of, is cross stitch a dying art? And in the process of that, I've been researching some history, and it's gotten me, look, that was the wolf part of Wolf.and.Noodles. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. In addressing that, I've had to look at some history, and has gotten me into samplers, and has gotten me actually interested in reproduction samplers. That's not something I've really been interested in before, so it's kind of a surprise that it's something that I'm thinking about. So if you have a favorite reproduction sampler, or one that you think is really neat, I'd like you to, post a link down in the comments. I'd like to go see them. I'm looking for one to stitch. I don't plan to become exclusive to reproduction samplers, but I think I'd like to do one. Oh, there's the noodles part of Noodles, of Wolf.and.Noodles. He's where I can't see it, show him. But there they were, they made their appearance. So anyway, reproduction samplers. I tend to lean a little bit more towards brighter colors in my threads, and the reproduction samplers tend to be a little bit more muted. And so if you have any favorites, let me see them. So as far as what I've been working on, I finished my Into the Jungle last week on Friday, February 1st. I started this one January 2018, and I finished it, February 1st, 2019. So there it is. Someone in the comments was asking about, is that a tapir? And yes, that is a tapir. Kind of fun. This one was kind of fun. It has some interesting animals that you don't see a lot. So it was really, look at that crocodile. Kind of fun. Frosted Pumpkin 2018 year-long mystery sale. So a lot of firsts for me in that one, with first time linen, first time Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, kind of exciting. So one of these days I'll get that framed, and I'll show it to you when it's in FFO. And then second thing I worked on is that since I finished that one, gave myself a new start of Merlins tulips. Reminder of this is what the finish, it's Rosewood Manor. Here's a finish of what it will look like when it's done, sort of. The colors are all crazy. I used the called for, these are the called for colors. As you can see, I don't know, I just think that's so funny. Like, when they okayed this for production, like, why? I don't know. Anyway, so there's that one. This one I'm doing in the called for colors, which is 4 colors of Weeks Dye Works, and then I'm doing it on 36 count Edinburgh linen by XG Designs. You can buy them on Etsy. It's a lady over in Hungary. Color is Old Linen. I really like it. I think it looks, it's fun to do. I've never really done anything like this, so it's a new experience and it's really fun. This is my Clay by Kim needle minder. So this is one I was lucky enough to get. Any of you that go on her Etsy, she posts on Thursdays, and it's like they're posted for 1 second and then all sold out. So I've been lucky to get a couple of them, and this is one, so that's kind of fun. I think the colors kind of match it. It's kind of fun to do a, you know, matching needle minder to the project. So I'm excited to work on that one and show you how that goes. Yep. Next thing I wanted, this is going to be, even with 2 weeks in between, it's still going to be a pretty short video. I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've gotten. I have, missed one. I have a monthly subscription to the Silks for You from in Australia, the Silks of the Month. And these were January's. They're absolutely beautiful colors. I've got myself quite a stash of these, so someday I'm going to use them. But absolutely, that looks, you know, pretty true to the colors that they are. I'll put them a little closer so you can see some of that variegation in there. Yeah. I guess they're a little bit brighter in real life. So that's fun. And they all come in these little bags. I wanted to talk to you also a little bit about designers, I guess. 10 years ago, I spent my whole life thinking I was like my own lone cross stitcher, right? And 10 years ago or so, I lived in Las Vegas after I finished college to do my student teaching. And my roommate, while I happened to be there, was also a cross stitcher, and she did some really beautiful things. And I remember she showed me one of her finished works that was a beautiful Cinderella, and I couldn't remember who it was by, but I've had that design in my mind for a long time, of that really beautiful Cinderella. And there they are. And anyway, watching Flosstube one day, someone, I can't remember who it was, maybe Running Stitch, I don't know her real name, but one of the ladies on Flosstube was talking about, showed some designers and some things they were going to be working on, and ended up showing that really beautiful Cinderella design. I was able to know that it was by Teresa Windsor. So that was, you know, I think that's one of the wonderful things about Flosstube and the cross-stitch community and the internet, and being able to use the internet to share ideas, is to learn about different designers and, you know, find that unicorn. So anyway, I thought it would be kind of fun to show some of the stash that I've acquired in case anybody happens to be looking for anything that I have, then they know what it's called and who makes it and, you know, where to find it. I have much more time to buy stuff than I do to stitch things. So this is where we're at. After on that Flosstube where they talked about Teresa Windsor, I went and got myself some Teresa Windsor books. These ones I think I bought from Amazon. I think one of them was from Goodwill.com. Anyway, various places. I just did a web search. Let me find that really beautiful Cinderella, and I'll show you why I had it in my mind all those years, in case you haven't seen it. I know most people know Teresa Windsor and her designs. Maybe this is the wrong book. No. That would be... I'm sorry, I should have marked it before I started this, but I was too excited to record. Ah, there it is. Okay. So there she is. I think that is the most beautiful Cinderella, with the prince calling her to stop and the little glass slipper over on the side. And I don't know, I I haven't started it, but I have it in my wish list of things I'd like to start, because anybody who knows about Teresa Windsor is it has, you know, the floss list is like millions skeins long. So it's a little bit intimidating. The other thing that's interesting about that one is it has, you know, the part that's charted 1/1. It's a little bit scary, so I haven't, you know, someday, someday I'll do that one. Then I also have the Best of Teresa Windsor, which has some other, you know, designs in it. There's a picture on the back of what it has in it. You know, I got these from Amazon. And this one, the Teresa Windsor sampler collection, which has some really, really cool ones. Like, for example, I think it's Split Stitch is making that one right there. I think this one here just looks so awesome. Anyway, lots of for the someday list. Someday I'm gonna make that. Then my other thing I wanted to show you is I have a couple of Russian kits that I bought from Russian sellers on Etsy that then have shipped to me from, you know, Ukraine or Russia or somewhere over there, and I think they're kind of interesting, so I thought I'd show them. The first one, it's out of its plastic package because I wanted to look at it. You know, it's hard to get it back in. This one I actually saw first on Ginger Gerald, his Flosstube, and so I got this one. Is Abris Art, Fairy Tale Town, and I just think that's really pretty. It comes with a 14 count Ada, which is like as long as I am tall, so I'll probably, when I make this one, swap it out for you know, something a little smaller count, and it's really just something a little prettier. I mean, look at this thing. Comes with all the thread there, the kit, and then like, I mean, seriously, I think I would, you know, something smaller and prettier. Not that there's anything wrong with Ada. I just, you know, thinking ahead that I found this new love for linen, and that would cost like $1 million to frame. So, yeah, there's that Fairy Tale Town. Yep. Another one I have from them is, or a Russian kit, not from them, I bought it on Etsy, is this. Well, it's Luca S. I think it came from somewhere overseas. I think it's Russian. And it's for a little purse. And would I carry a purse that I made with cross-stitch design? Would I carry this? Probably not. However, I do think it's really pretty. I think it would be really fun to have and to use and to look at. I think it brings me a lot of joy to think about making this and owning it. Then the last one that I have to show you that is a Kingdom of Books. I bought it on Etsy. This one is also, it's in its bubble wrap still from when it got shipped to me. But I just absolutely love that one. What's interesting for that paper that I'm working on is it talks about, well, I found a PDF of a pamphlet from the Smithsonian Archives that talks about, it's from 1899, and it's a cross-stitch pamphlet with patterns, you know, like our magazines that we have. And there's a page in the front of it from 1899 that talks about how the so popular cross-stitch is, how it has a revival every decade or two. And then it talks about the beauty of the Russian cross-stitch versus, you know, the German versus American. And I think even, you know, more than 100 years later, I think we can see that it still holds true that the Russians still have a different. It's still different. I mean, the things that we're producing here in the United States are also beautiful and really nice, but the things that the Russians are doing are different. So I just think that was neat that 100 years later it still applies. I wonder, there's not too many things that 100 years later it still applies. But cross stitch, the same. It's the same now as it was 100 years ago. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and any questions or comments or anything down in the bottom would be great, and I'd love to see your favorite reproduction sampler, either that you're working on or a link to it. Thanks, have a great day. Bye.